Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blisstopia podcast. I am your host, Mercedes Castellani, and I'm so excited and honored to be recording this episode today. This conversation is going to be so insightful, especially for all of you who are into entrepreneurship, doing those first steps into your own business, planning to create your own business in the future. And today we have an incredible guest that I have always admired. He has so many credentials as a seasoned entrepreneur. Today's guest is Ignacio Carcavallo. He's a founder's coach. He helps high-performing founders navigate crucial transitions with natural confidence and ease. He's also the founder of Treevotion, which is a social business that aims to plant 1 billion trees around the world while building global awareness and consciousness on deforestation. And previously, he used to be the co-founder and co-CEO of ClickOn Group, which is a company that sold 65 million US dollars and employed 700 people. So, whoa. It is such an honor to have Ignacio on the show. So welcome, Ignacio, to Blisstopia podcast.
Thank you, Mers. Be very, very happy to be in this amazing setting.
Amazing. We have so much to learn from you. And let's start by the very beginning. Can you tell us your journey in entrepreneurship? How you started in ClickOn, which were the motivations behind that venture that you had. And also for me, what's really interesting is how you switched from a business like ClickOn to businesses like Treevotion, which is a social business linked to deforestation, and also the business that you currently have as a founder's coach. So walk us through your trajectory.
Yeah. Well, you know that we met before, I think around early 2000s when we were in at the same university. I was studying business administration back then. And it's supposedly the best university in Argentina. So it's very, very demanding. And I thought I wanted to be the next CEO of one of the largest companies like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. And then maybe like 20, 30 years later, once I was able to achieve this dream back then, to be an entrepreneur. But I hadn't seen that. I had been like a very, very tiny entrepreneur when I was like between 10 to 17 years old with like very small projects in the school, on the side. I was, did some side gigs or, small, it wasn't a company. I would call them gigs, but there was always, a hunger of doing something. But for some reason, I wanted to be a corporate guy. So finished the university, started working as a trainee in Anheuser-Busch, that nowadays is the largest retail company in the world. They control 80% of the beers and Pepsi and Gatorade around the world. So it's super huge. And even when they promoted me every 6 months, and it's an amazing company. I would really recommend you working there if you want to do a corporate experience. But I realized that I was not a corporate guy, that I had absolutely missed it. My dream for many, many years, I wanted to be the next CEO, was absolutely wrong. I couldn't stand the corporate politics, the lobby, and the time needed to execute it. I was 22 years old back then when I started. I was so hungry. I wanted to work. I didn't like studying, so I was very much waiting to finish the university so I could start working. And when I started there, I had so many ideas and I want to execute. And I saw that projects needed years to execute. So I said, after like 3 years, I said, I think I've learned a lot, but I am done. So I started, they promoted me to a new position of a new management that was next to the CEO for a confidential project. And because I had like a one and a half hour of commuting every single day, one way and back, so almost 3 hours a day, I started working on a side project and started developing a shoe company. And I hired my sister that was still going to the uni, and pay her a salary out of my salary. So we started, developing a small company of customizable shoes until one day I got an email from an investor. This was LinkedIn back in 2010. Nowadays, 2024, we all use LinkedIn every single day. It's a very well-known social network for jobs. But back then it was, you put your profile up, you got some weird messages, and one day I got an email saying like they were looking for a co-founder because they wanted to invest in different countries in the world. So I got some calls, and it was pretty strange. Guys from Switzerland and Germany, and terrible different time zone. I was waking up at 4 a.m. to take a call, and they were pushing the call. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, this is like a scam or something. But and I was a little bit. It wasn't aggressive, but one day I talked to this investor and I told him, like, hey man, if you're not interested in this, I have a job. I need to go to a faraway city to work. So if you're not interested, like, don't waste my time. I hadn't done my homework back then. I was 26 years old. He was one of the largest investors in Europe, early stage Facebook type, huge player in Europe. And I'm like, oh, why did I look up this guy? But luckily he liked the attitude, and he said, like, okay, I like the way you're defending your time. So long story short, they wanted to create the largest Groupon competitor. So daily deals, discounts. This was back in 2010. Groupon had just started in the US, was skyrocketing. It was the fastest e-commerce growing in the US. So yeah, long story short, we executed the company. I quit my job. We got the investment, and over 9 years of execution, we sold $65 million only in Argentina. We employed more than 700 people with a maximum of 150 in 1 year. We bought two of the largest competitors, one from the second largest newspaper in the country. We had like 6 companies below our company, operations in 12 provinces in Argentina with local teams. We sold the company in 2019. And going back to your question, our core purpose was to help people enjoy their lives on a daily basis. And what we mean about enjoying is that as we sold 2 million coupons in a 40 million population country, it was a lot of transactions. So our market was the mass market. It wasn't something niche. The idea was like most people could access to restaurants, spas, hotels, weekend getaways, treatments, entertainment, theater, cinemas, all with 50 to 80% discount. So the premise was most people want to enjoy more their cities and their life, but their budget doesn't allow you. So it's very expensive to go out for dinner like 3 times a week or 5 times a week. But with an 80% discount, you could definitely enjoy more your city and hence your free time and your life. So the core purpose was to help people enjoy their lives more. And yeah, it was an amazing company, but we were huge in Argentina. But I was 24, 25 years old, and I started seeing that Argentinian economy was showing some really big difficulties. And then our business, the business model after 9 years was showing some cracks. It was difficult for merchants to give an amazing service to people that were going with huge discounts. So, and this model had been blasted throughout the whole world. So it was very difficult to start in a different country and scratch. I talked to my co-founder, Leon, and we said, we really want to build a global company, and we don't see that this is going to be our global company, and we don't see that we can replicate this company in different countries because it's like completely blown and burnt. So we associated the top managers to run the day-to-day. I went to travel the world for 8 months. I did twice around the world. I was studying Buddhism. I was very into meditation. I was very into fastings and many different kind of fasting, not only food fasting, but social media and sex and different kind of purifications. And I lived for 2 months in India. I did a Vipassana retreat in Indonesia, 10 days, no speak, looking in the eyes, 110 hours of meditation. I also didn't eat for those 10 days. So only drank 4 liters of water. Wow. And during that time, I said, I really want to build a global company that is based on helping and impact, because my why is to help others and be part of something greater. So I saw that there was a business model that was really rocking in the US that is called 4Ocean. That is a company that's selling recycled plastic bracelets that remove a pound of trash from the ocean. So I said, I want to do something similar, because what I loved about this business model, and this goes back to the sustainability side, is that I wanted a business model that had help and impact ingrained within the business model. Not this for me BS that you have an extremely capitalist company and you donate 1% of your profits to the world. But for me,
Exactly.
yeah, it's better than nothing, but it's more greenwashing than anything else in my view. And then on the other side, have a controversial take that I'm extremely grateful for the nonprofit companies, because most people that work there are absolutely passionate about the purpose. But the problem is that I do not believe in the scalability of donations. We live in a consumerist and capitalist world where people just don't want to give their money away for free for a topic. Of course, some people do it, and some people are extreme philanthropists. But when you see the ratio of stupid consumption versus actual donation, it's broken. So that shows you that the nonprofit model and donation model is not scalable, and society doesn't love it. Does it a little bit on the side? Yeah, it's great, but it doesn't connect you. So I wanted to create a company that has the strength of the capitalism and the consumerism, but that hacks help and impact within the company. So in our case, Treevotion is a company that sells handmade bracelets by Balinese women, because it's still a little bit like an old school country where women haven't got much independence, and they're still working in their houses. So this is a way to give them, with fair trade, an income to help them get out of the house and have some independence. You're planting between 2 to 20 trees in the most needed areas of the world with each bracelet. And third, most of the marketing on the online marketing for customer acquisition is also about deforestation and making a huge impact. And if you buy a bracelet or trees, in the end, it's great. But you every single ad brings a very deep message to impact people. So it has a triple impact. And the way we advertise it as a for-profit company. Absolutely. Like, it's no donations, it's not non-profit, it's not charity, it's a for-profit company, because for-profit companies can have more capital to scale, to pay taxes, to hire people, to hire the best agents, marketing agencies, and have amazing resources. But what we are showing is the deforestation and the trees. So it sounds like it's a donation, but we say it's not a donation, and you're actually buying a product, because capitalism, it's a little bit selfish. People still want something in exchange. So what they get in exchange, it's still a product that is amazing, and it's a great conversation starter, because you can go to a dinner and say, no, I know I planted trees with these. They're handmade. They're made of Balinese stones, volcano stones. So it's amazing, and you're helping these women. And then you also get something in exchange, the bracelet, and also the tree planting certificate. So even when it was about helping others, in terms of the Balinese women or the environment with the trees, what I loved about that business model and the meta concept is that it's actually a tool to help people help, to reduce the friction from people to do some kind of impact or to help the environment, others, etc. So that was the main goal, to develop tools and mediums to accelerate and scale the desire of most people to help, but to help in a way that they feel connected, not just to give money away. And so once again, it was, the common denominator is helping others just be a better person, succeed, or have a bigger impact. And with this founders coaching company that I've been developing over the past 2 years since I moved to LA, I'm not sure if I don't remember if I shared with you. 11 years ago, when I was back in Argentina, I co-founded EO. EO is Entrepreneurs Organization. It's one of the largest entrepreneurs organizations in the world. You have to sell at least $1 million per year, so there's some kind of impact. So I had been coaching peer-to-peer entrepreneurs for 11 years, and I saw the impact that a great coaching session could have on an entrepreneur. Having amazing clarity on what to do, having confidence on the action plan, having the support not to be lonely as a founder. So I said, if I want to amplify my impact and my help, how can I do it? And because I'm in love with entrepreneurship and with founders, I believe that entrepreneurs have a huge impact in society. These kind of private companies are the ones that move the economy and develop an economy. And I believe that founders have a huge influence in clients, in suppliers, in clients, in teammates, in their employees, in communities, even in politics. Sometimes they're influencers. So I always said the premise: imagine if I could coach Elon Musk and improve him 10%. How many people am I actually impacting? So what I love about this company is that every time that we partner up with a founder, a high performing founder, we're actually impacting hundreds of thousands of people through that medium.
That's so beautiful. It's so beautiful how, first of all, regarding Treevotion, how you took your purpose, which is to help other people help, and you took that and you created a business model. You're helping the Balinese women, you're helping the whole planet through avoiding deforestation, of course. And it's beautiful to see how we can take an idea, something that seems so in the air, like purpose, and we can actually turn it into a business model with strategy behind, with investments behind, etc. That's one thing. And then regarding your coaching business, so Sunwave Ventures, it's really nice. And I think in that we align quite a lot, in the sense that when you see a founder, you see also all the other people that are going to be impacted by that founder. And that's also why I decided to become a coach as well, because I think we can change the world one person at a time. So in that sense, it's beautiful. I think we're moving the needle in the same sense. You through founders, and I through women that want to create beautiful lives.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And I think also when we have this purpose, okay, let's say we find clarity in purpose. We decide, okay, this is what my soul came here to do. This is what I'm good at, and this is what my soul came here to do. But then the thing that could happen afterwards is this huge limiting belief that says you either make a lot of money in a traditional company that
Old
doesn't
school.
have so much impact, or you make less money, but you do something beautiful, like helping deforestation and Balinese women and blah, 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 blah. So how do we get out of this limiting belief, and how can we actually have both? How can we have impact, purpose, come to realize our soul's mission, but at the same time, build wealth, have a successful business? So how can we ally both? And how has your experience been to actually prove that we get to have it all?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, if you, I know that you follow my content in LinkedIn or Instagram, and part of my motto is have it all. Don't settle. When I talk hard things about the hustle culture and why it's so toxic, I challenge high performing founders that are high performing in business, and I tell them, if you're such a high performer, why are you only performing in business and not in your relationships, not in your spirituality, not in your health? If you're going to be a high performing human or founder, just go for the whole 9 yards. Just go for all. Because if you're dropping the ball on some other areas of life, then there's no free lunch. Yeah, your business may be succeeding, but you're going to be empty inside. You're going to have any kind of diseases, nutrition problems, alcohol abuse or drug abuse. You're not going to be able to be present with your kids. You're not going to be able to have sexual intimacy with your spouse, etc., 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 etc. So how do you do it? First, it's about believing that it's absolutely possible. And nowadays, there's two main things that I think that enable the opportunity to actually build a sustainable business that is also financially abundant. And first is the extreme globalization, especially after COVID, with thousands of softwares that you can use instead of hiring teams. So you can try MVPs, minimum viable products, small iterations of your project until you find PMF, product market fit. So you can do very cheap trials of your ideas. It's not that you need to quit your job and get investment, or invest a lot of your time and your money and invest tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars for a project until you launch it. You can do like a couple $100 iterations of small ideas and see how it goes, so that you start designing them as you go. And the second reason that this is a great opportunity is that I believe that new generations are not, I mean, it's pretty proven that new generations are valuing the impact. Why should I choose this company? Like, because we've seen what extreme and wild capitalism has done, even though I think that up to now, capitalism is the best form that we have found in terms when you see statistics of nutrition, disease, literacy, and financial abundance. It's the best yet, with huge holes and huge problems, but in comparison to other systems, for me, it is still the best. So how can we use this? Luckily, new generations are putting a lot of focus and value on the impact that the company is having. So there's a social and market trend to basically send more money to those areas than to Monsanto, companies that, or like big pharma, that you're absolutely sure they're really fucking it up in many ways, in a very old school way. And so that's about the way to execute and where the market is going. The market is looking for more of these kind of businesses, not the old school extreme capitalism, wild capitalism companies. And the second side is on the founder side, is that when you're doing something out of money or just ambition, yes, I mean, you may do well. There's tons of companies that are doing well, but usually what I see with founders is that eventually you run out of gas, you burn out, you feel absolutely empty. Because let's say that you don't have enough money and you want to build a wealth, and you want to have like several houses and cars and travel, etc. Yeah, you take some years, you build a company, eventually you get there. But once you're able to travel, you can have some cars, have some houses, jewelry, whatever is your thing. Then what I see with founders, they say something is missing. I don't have that stamina anymore. Or like, I can't do it anymore. Or there's something wrong with me. Well, there's not something wrong with them. It's just like they're just lacking purpose. So money and ambition can only take you as far as some people show, like months, years, but it has a clear limitation. Unless the only thing that they care about is money and some more old school thoughts that some people may work that way. I've never seen a very happy and whole person that is only following money. And by the way, I love money, and I love luxuries, and I love traveling around the world. I have a sports car. I'm not a guy that hasn't got anything. I'm connected with financial wealth and some materialism. So I'm also guilty about some kind of like monetary ambition. But I also seen that once you get up to a certain level, and we're not talking about multi-millions, we're just talking about getting to some dreams and having enough money to build your life. Then founding a company and pushing a company and employees and clients and problems and cash flow and the founder roller coaster is very hard. So if money is the only thing that is propelling your company, then you're going to lose steam and you're going to run out of gas sooner than later. But when you're connected to your passion, to your purpose, and what you're truly the true meaning that that is a reason why you're in this life, then nothing can stop you. There's no. It's like a forever hunger. My desire to make an impact on others has been with me since I was born. And of course, I even made a lot of mistakes, like trying to solve other people's problems when they didn't ask for me, switching roles with parents or friends, being an advisor, a brother, a father, whatever, when I hadn't had to do something. Or even with my fiance, when she brings me a situation, and with sometimes the feminine energy, sometimes or many times feminine energy, just wants to be held and supported and listened. What do? I try to solve the problem.
Solve it.
Fix the problem. And that's wrong, because I shouldn't. I mean, she's not looking for that. And nowadays, I'm trying myself to ask her, are you looking for support or a solution?
That's so
and it helps me, okay, shut your problem-solving mind. You're here to bring support. So, this joke that is reality shows that shows me that I've always been very prone to help others, even when I did it to an extreme that I hadn't to. And that's why I'm so thankful of my current practice, because I can put all most of my willingness to help and impact others in a professional setting for people that are asking and requesting my help. So that's the healthy environment, instead of just pushing to someone that is not looking for my kind of support. So yeah, that passion is gonna be one of your greatest assets, because it gets hard. cash flow, teams, employees, investors, market, taxes, structures, legal situations. It's huge. It gets tough. And then once your money concerns are relatively solved, then you don't have enough passion and fuel to keep going. But when you're connected to that purpose and passion, nobody can stop you.
Yes, exactly. So it sounds like, first of all, we can have it all. We can have wealth and impact. So that's beautiful to confirm, because that can be a huge limiting belief sometimes. And also, purpose and impact is what is going to get you through the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. So, speaking about the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, in your experience as an entrepreneur and in the experience of your clients and the people that you have mentored in the past, what is the secret sauce for success? Is it personality? Is it business strategy? Is it the network? Is it a touch of luck? What are the requirements to be a successful entrepreneur?
Absolutely. So I always say there's one main thing. Of course, I mean, it's not one thing. It's a combination of all the things that you just shared. But for me, the most important trait that I look for in a founder is his or her ability to execute, and perseverance. That, of course, perseverance is embedded into execution. Many people are confused that entrepreneurship is like they have a huge idea they don't want to share with anyone because they think it's amazing, or they have like great contacts. But actually, there's an amazing phrase that entrepreneurship is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration, because it's all about relentless execution, day to day, night to night, week, month, year by year, execution, taking action, making decisions, making trials, pushing the ball forward, no matter, and of course, with some strategy, with some consulting, with some networking. Of course, it's not just doing. But if we're talking about the secret sauce out of a whole dish that has different ingredients, the secret sauce, in my view, is that passionate execution and relentless determination of making it work, because it gets hard, no matter the size, no matter the stage. If you're in an extremely early stage where you're just trying out ideas, you're going to be talking to people, launching the first trials, doing some mock-ups if it's a product. Some are going to fail. Some people are going to say that it's BS, that they don't like it, that they don't see a market, or you don't have enough money to pay for the first drafts. There's tons of problems, no matter the stage. And of course, if you have a huge company, problems are going to be also huge. So there's tons of reasons to quit. Tons of reasons to quit. There's also another phrase that says that if someone would tell you how hard it will get in the process, and you could see it, you maybe wouldn't embark into this path.
Yes, sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Oh yeah, 100%. Ignorance is needed to be an entrepreneur, because if you were, let's say, 20, 25 years old, and I would say, well, on the next 10 years, you will have to face all these situations. Maybe you would have second thoughts.
Just give me a corporate job.
Luckily, they say that as entrepreneurs, we first shoot and then we aim. So we start executing, we try A, we try B, we try C, and then this doesn't work, so we try D, and D sticks, keep with the D path. Then, new situation happens, so we do A, B, C again, and then we see that C happens, C works. So we start building the path, but that path is full of blocks and being stuck and doubts. This execution, passion, and relentless determination of making it work no matter what is for me the main sauce. The second one would be the network. And network doesn't mean about having great contacts like from your family, from your job. It's even when you don't have, I didn't have any networking, and I built it through this entrepreneurs organization and through some mentors. But or even if you can pay for consultants or coaches, it's a very lonely road. So as you are relentless about execution and you start taking all the challenges and all the problems, you want to have the best network support that you can build, and you can intentionally and proactively build it if you don't have it, just by getting into entrepreneurs organizations, hiring consultants, coaches, or mentors, asking for someone to be your mentor for free, family, friends, investors, other peer-to-peer learning and entrepreneurs. With entrepreneurs, LinkedIn is a great source to create bonds, so that you build your team, your conceptual team, as a founder, and you avoid the extreme loneliness that being a founder brings.
Exactly. And there's something important that you mentioned, which is perseverance. You need to continue and pursue and be determined. So where is the line? Because I think there might be a fine line between, okay, I have an idea, I believe in this, I know there's something here. So you stick to it and you persevere. So where's the line, the fine line when you say, okay, maybe you persevere? How do you know if you have like a good business strategy, if you're persevering on the right project, or if you're persevering on something that is maybe not right, you don't have the right business strategy, or you don't have the right foundations for it, and you're just persevering because you have to persevere?
Yeah. Well, my view is that even when you don't have the business strategy, if you continue with this passion and purpose and perseverance, you will find a business strategist or a mentor that would help you with the business strategy. So for me, that relentless drive is going to get you eventually to the resource or tool that will help you unlock your stage. So maybe right now you don't have the right strategy and you're hitting a wall, but if you don't quit, and of course, and if you're creating your network, and if you're educating yourself and listening to podcasts and reading books and doing market trials and trying to learn as much as you can, eventually you will find the way out. You will understand what was missing or what's not working if you continue pouring that fuel. Because the thing is that most of projects, if not all, will hit like tons of walls. I haven't met a single founder that many times, even the best performing founders, many times through their careers, have evaluated quitting because they said, this is not working. This is really not working. So I'm not talking about sticking to the same business model, the same idea forever. And of course, the maturity and your seniorness as an entrepreneur will help you start connecting with your instinct, and not only spiritually but also factually. It's like you start understanding how the market works, how clients works, how product works, and this is time in the market. You have to experiment and you have to fail, and until you start understanding, the levers of the market, and you realize that maybe the product is not working, the price is not working, the marketing is not working. So when you understand, when you learn about the different areas of a company, you can identify what's going on, so that you can know where to focus on. Is it a customer acquisition problem? Is it a pricing problem? Is it a communication problem? Is it a product problem? Is it a customer satisfaction problem? Is it just a need problem? You're just solving a need that is too small or people don't care. So with this relentless passion and determination, you are in the market, talking to customers, talking to clients, talking to potential investors, talking to other entrepreneurs, talking to business consultants, mentors, coaches, if you can pay for them, or if you ask them for free. You're talking to other entrepreneurs in networks like EO or other organizations. You're listening to podcasts. You're reading books. You're trying different prices. You're launching different products, and you're hearing what the market says. With that determination, if you don't have the expertise, because now, of course, I talk from some kind of expertise. I'm 40 years old. I have 20 years in business and huge problems over that time lapse. But of course, back then, I didn't have this wisdom or knowledge. I just built it. So how did I do it? By relentless execution and by failing many, many, many times. And of course, I keep failing, maybe bigger problems. It's part of the human nature. It's how we learn. But how do you know? It's by reading and listening to the market. The market always has the answer of what's not working with your product, service, pricing, marketing, communication, etc. So you got to be there, listening, talking, exposed and doing different trials until you understand what's not working, and maybe the idea is not working or the product is not working, and you change the product, or you change the pricing, or you change the delivery mechanism or the medium. And with these trials, eventually you'll see that the problem that was that you weren't explaining the product well. Like, for example, when I started this coaching practice, I was talking about redesign. I work with founders, right? This is my target audience. I was talking about, I was a high-performing founder. I taught you about high performance. So I was a high-performance coach. And my motto was, design the life that you want in a balanced way. Balance meaning business, health, and relationships. Design the life that you want. And it was working. I had some clients. Of course, I was doing well, but I saw that it wasn't having enough traction, and I knew that the value that I was giving when I met Founder was really high, and I was doing ads, but the concept wasn't sticking. So I went to the market and I started challenging that idea. What's going on? Like, what do you think about? What do you think about me as a high performance coach? And I understood that put me in like a higher position. Like, I know about high performance that you don't. So it's not a good way to empathize with the other person. It's like, I will teach you, like, who the fuck are you to teach me how to live? So it made me, be more humble about it. And I inverted it. And now I work with high-performing founders. And of course, I help them with high performance, but I don't talk about that. Now you are and it's real. I mean, you are a high-performing founder. And I love working with high performers. I don't tell you, but eventually I will help you become a even better high performer, or get you connected back to that high performance because you used to have it, but now you're stuck, you're not feeling it, you're connected to purpose. And also, what I realize is that most of these founders are struggling with their companies, and they're not even thinking about. They don't have it as a top of mind to redesign their lives. And also, unluckily, I think that your audience is more connected to balance and spirituality, but founders in general are not very connected to the word balance. Especially in the US, it has a load. Sometimes it's conceived as being mediocre or halfway. And then when you see everyone's burnt out, but they don't even, and I was talking a lot about burnt out. And the other thing that I realized by talking to the market is that they are not aware. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The typical session would be, a prospecting session. Hey, so I know how you're doing with stress. It's well, I have some challenges like everyone, but okay, tell me more about that. Well, I'm like 20 kilos overweight, but I'm getting there. And well, yeah, maybe I drink some alcohol like 3, 4, 5 times a week, but not too much. Maybe sometimes too much. I do some recreational drugs, and yeah, sexual intimacy with my wife it's not amazing, but well, I wish I had my time, more time with my kids, and there's some insomnia, yeah, anxiety. Oh yeah, I take some pills sometimes, and keep going. You're like, oh my God.
Ticking all the boxes.
all freaking boxes. But I don't. My realization was that this has been normalized. So no wonder people are not even seeing that they're absolutely burnt out and this is not sustainable, because everyone's like that. So it has become normalized. So what I discovered about talking so much about with the market was that I was pushing burnout and life design and balance when people weren't even aware of the problem. So now I changed the communication, and it's relanding, that I'm supporting and helping high-performing founders navigate crucial transitions in business or life. And that's from what I heard and how my business is growing is really connected to what entrepreneurs are feeling, because it's like, oh yes, I'm scaling the company, or just sold it, or I'm launching a new company, or I just went bankrupt. There's something big happening, and that's a reality that is aware. And I talk about natural confidence and ease. Natural confidence, because we know that when we are in a huge transition, our confidence usually gets hit, and everything becomes very difficult. So the ease part is empowering. It's like, yeah, this can
That would be
easy.
nice.
That would be nice. That would be refreshing. So this is
Mm.
for me a great example. Even when I have this experience that something was not working, and I went to the market and understood what wasn't hit. Was it the price? But the price was okay. The delivery was okay. The service was good, but the communication, hence the marketing, wasn't working.
Mm. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Which were the things that actually, so there was this thing that you needed to shift in your communication marketing strategy, but what were the things that really catapulted your current business? Maybe from even ideas that you had from all your previous experience, but what were the things that, right from the start just clicked, just worked in your current business?
Yeah. So yeah, I have been studying entrepreneurs for more than 10 years within EO, and I saw that most of the people that I knew were extremely successful in business. Businesses are doing between $1 to $100 million a year. So they're thriving businesses. Of course, they have the ups and downs, but they're doing very well. But because we have these monthly forums, 4-hour forums that we talk about what we call the 5%. It's the deepest, the best and the worst 5% of your life. The 5% or the 1% that you're not even talking to your therapist or to your spouse, the deepest stuff. And I was hearing for more than a decade terrible things. And we're talking about, for me, the luckiest and the people with the most resources in the planet, founders in like amazing countries with $1 to $100 million a year, huge resources, MBAs or masters, entrepreneurs community, networking, a lot of friends, good family. I mean, they're the top 1 or 2% of the planet. What's left for the rest of the almost 8 billion people? If these people are not thriving, are not extremely happy and wholesome and healthy, what's left for the rest of society that is just like trying to pay bills? And I come from a family that struggled economically when we were like super young, so I know the stress that brings to the house. And my parents working like almost 3 shifts. I know economical stress. It's 3 kids. It gets tough. So I designed a program based on these 1 to 2 decades of experience on entrepreneurship, so that the founders would have what they needed, a 360-degree support, not only on business, for the founder's journey. And the second thing that really worked, so this was basically a lot of market research from my own past experience and developing something that I knew that it was an absolute need. And of course, it was my need 10 to 15 years ago. It's still my need. I have 9 coaches nowadays. The second thing was to get a lot of coaches or mentors or consultants, my network, what I call my personal board of A players, the people, the amazing professionals and experts that are supporting me. Because many things I didn't know. So, for example, my personal branding coach and mentor is Matt Gray. He's doing amazing things in the US and now worldwide. And he helped me, change my strategy from Instagram and mostly relied on ads to organic content in LinkedIn, because founders usually hang out in LinkedIn, not in Instagram. And because the organic content, of course, takes way more energy to do amazing content on a daily basis, but you start building a media empire for yourself. And over time, it lowers your CAC, your customer acquisition cost, because it's all organic. And for the past 6 or 7 months, I've been writing daily articles, every single day, an article for LinkedIn, and been doing amazing. I'm almost sold out, and many posts are going viral. And even when I don't work with people, people say that these messages are impacting them. And this is all because of my mentors and coaches, because I had my team of A players that was supporting me, so I didn't have to do it on my own.
Exactly. So the importance of even getting coaches to fully support them
100%.
and to do the best job that we can. So let's imagine that there's a woman in her 9 to 5. It's okay, but there's more in life. There's definitely more in life. And she wants to create a business that is truly aligned with her purpose. She has one idea in mind, something that is related to maybe a hobby that she's super passionate about. So how can she understand if this idea has a true business potential or if it's just a hobby and it should remain a hobby?
Yeah. So two things. I first recommend to do the ikigai exercise. The ikigai is this Japanese term where you understand what's your passion, what you like to do, what you know how to, what you have experience and you're good at doing, what you have done in the past, and what the market pays, what the market would pay for, and you start combining these things to understand like if there's a market potential, if there's some overlap on the things that the market wants to pay for, that you're good at, that you like, and you have experience. So you start overlapping and doing these trials to see if there's a market potential. But mostly, I would recommend learning about the lean startup methodology. That I talk a lot about MVP, minimum viable product, and in a very simple way, it's about launching and trying the smallest iterations possible to the market, the smallest, the cheapest, the fastest iteration of that even idea. It's not a project, it's an idea. So you can test the market, listen and have the feedback of the market with small iterations, so to validate those ideas. And once you get the market feedback, you change something from your product or service, you relaunch it. Launch it means that you're just talking to your friggin' aunt or your friend, or a Facebook post or LinkedIn post. Basically, if you want to do a service that is target, let's say, to 9 to 5 women that are in corporate jobs, I would send messages. I would create connections in LinkedIn for free with women that are similar to the ICP, the ideal client profile. Send them connection requests and chat with them and ask them, hey, how are you doing with with your corporate job? Would you like to do something different? Would you be open? What's your main pain point? She wants to start a new project, but she's afraid. I was like, okay, so what's stopping you from launching that? I feel lonely. Hey, would it be helpful to have a coaching context to help you launch your project? So basically, you start trying out the idea with potential customers that is like actually free. So you start gauging the market interest, and then slowly, and even if it was a product, you can design like a very small product, the cheapest version you can get. First, of course, even talking to potential customers, like, hey, would you like this kind of, would it be valuable? What's your pain point? What's the solution that you're trying to solve? And then when you see that some potential like prospects or clients are interested in that, you can design a mock-up, a very cheap first iteration, and do some trials. Hey, Mers, like, try this product, try it for a week. Let me know how it works, if it's valuable for you, like any feedback. So basically, do the smallest iterations with the potential customers, the cheapest, the fastest one, so you can get market feedback and see if this works, the pricing, what needs to be changed, if they love it, if they don't give a fuck, if it's okay, if they're just being nice to you, or if they say, oh, I love it. When I started these trials with Treevotion, people loved it. They were like, what? You can plant trees? But this is donation? No. Oh, so I get it. And this kind of excitement, that was real excitement, not just like people saying like, so good, they're doing a new company. No, they were like actually interested. Even I did a post. I was trying, back then I was in Thailand. I filmed that like a 1 minute video next to an elephant with a Treevotion t-shirt. I had paid $5 for it and said, hey, we're launching this. We're going to be planting trees and stuff. And I posted that in Instagram. This was like 5 or 6 years ago, so even less viral. Oh, you remember? And
Yes.
and suddenly like hundreds of friends were reposting that, and it became viral. And I said like, wow, this is not just friend support. There's something
here. Yeah.
And that cost me nothing. $5 of our t-shirt.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's say this woman, she's in her 9 to 5. She realizes, okay, I'm going to do this MVP. I'm going to try it. There's some potential here. And she's like, okay, let's do it. So she's going to do the first steps in her business. Which are the key areas that she should look into in order to have a successful business right from the start? Sort of
Great.
the must-haves that you need to check and you need to make sure that they're covered to ensure that you're going to have a successful business afterwards?
So, given the framing of the question, if that person has no business experience whatsoever, the first thing that I would try to get is some kind of mentorship. If it's paid, it's better because you can have set time to work on that. But if not, there's tons of free mentorship, or even reaching out to someone that I don't know, you look up to, that knows some business, and say, hey, would you be able to help me a little bit to guide you? Because if you have no experience whatsoever, there's a lot of variables, and you're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel it's gonna be slow, and you're gonna sometimes feel like you don't have traction. You don't know if you should go A, B, or C. So definitely, if you have no experience and you have no knowledge of business, the way to accelerate that is to get someone paid or free that can guide you through the first steps. But the main thing is very rudimentary. That is, understand if there's a business opportunity. And we just talked about, this is the main thing, because once you think about a service or a product, you talk to the market and you see that there's a need, and you also do some market research and you understand like what's the potential pricing that people would be willing to pay, and you also have seen that you can get a really good production cost or your service or whatever, so you have a good margin. You can already start delivering some products or services even without a website, without Instagram. It's just like first iterations, first trials. Same thing as it's easy to see a very basic business. You're good at making cakes in your house. You do an amazing chocolate cake, the best chocolate cake that you ever tried. Love it. You don't need to build a website, an Instagram, a factory. You just you just talk to people that would buy your cakes and do 10 cakes and see, the highest price that you can charge, and how to lower your cost. It's not going to be the lowest cost because it's still, small units. But try it out. Start selling a couple of extra cakes, and see what people say. People freaking love it. If they repurchase it, if they want to, more different cakes, or if they don't like the flavor, or if they think it's too expensive, if they think it's too cheap. So once you start having that market insight, you can start developing the company in a more professional way, a more scalable way. But in the first time, with women that haven't got much experience or haven't done it before, you can do it something very, very small, and it's basically simplifying it to a trade. I have a cake, a coaching hour, or a T-shirt. You have money. What's the simplest way? Like if we were talking about 100 years ago, what is the simplest way that we can exchange this? Because sometimes we create complex scenarios, but in the end, we're just exchanging time or products for money.
Exactly.
And in the end, we need to validate if that exchange is worth. Once you validate that simple exchange is worth for both parties, I give you my cake or my T-shirt or my coaching hour, which is priced this way. It works for me, and for you, I love this T-shirt, I love this cake, I love this coaching hour. It's amazing. And you scale a little bit, you do a little bit more, and you repeat it, and you see that there's some traction. Then you can start putting some more complexity and scaling and company and a website. But in the beginning, you need to understand if there's value. And value can be tried in a very simple way, in a very old school way.
Yes. So what I listen is the importance of testing, very small, very quick and efficient and cost effective, even for free tests that can actually give you proof if you have an interesting idea or not. And if you have an interesting idea, but you can make it even better because of the feedback that you get, and make it even more powerful, then that's even better. So then let's say this woman listens to your advice, she tests, she's like, okay, now I have a good idea and I'm going to proceed with it. And she's 1 or 2 years into business, so still very, very early stages, but already feeling the roller coaster of business with the ups, the downs, the rejections, the doubts, the success, the adrenaline, the good things and the good and bad, all quote unquote. So what would you say to this woman who, is experiencing the roller coaster? How to remain calm, how to find that perseverance even when it gets hard?
Yeah. My answer, and this is what I wrote, this is one of my main messages in my post: get friggin' support. Don't try to do it on yourself. Women, men, children, or dogs, it doesn't matter. I always say, I do this analogy. You're saying you're feeling a little bit of burnout, the ups and downs, you got hit, it's a roller coaster. So go back to the body. You have bruises, maybe you have a small fracture, your kidney's not working. Are you going to read books, meditate, or listen to medical podcasts, or are you going to go to the doctor? It's very in many professions, it's so simple to see it. Let's say you have a complex tax situation with your company. You're selling in China, but you're producing in Italian, but you import it to the US, but then you sell in Portugal, and then it's huge tax situations. Are you going to listen to tax podcasts, read tax books, or are you going to go to a consultant to help you design a tax strategy worldwide? It's funny that as founders, we know that we have to build amazing teams in our company, try to get the best marketing folk, the best customer service, the best finance, but we don't do that with ourselves. And no wonder it's extremely lonely. And I have this same analogy with couples. I think that marriages and being in a long-term relationship with someone is one of the most difficult and most meaningful projects that we can have in our life, and also having kids. And funny though, it's one of the areas that we have less support ever. And for me, that's a huge inconsistency. If you see the best artists, the best sport men or women, the best singers, the best businessmen or women, they're full of consultants, mentors, coaches, people are doing assessment. And that's why they're able to be, the best players, the best singer, the best actors. Like Taylor Swift right now, yeah, sure, $1 billion singer. Do you really think that she's doing it by herself? She has like 20 coaches: vocal, physical, emotional, spiritual, money, singing, personal branding. So like Messi, we are from Argentina. Messi, like the number one player in the world. Sure, he's freaking genius. But behind him, how many coaches, mentors, consultants are working with him in order for him to be the best player in every single match, with such an amazing body, stamina, leadership, everything? So my recommendation is, don't do it on your own. There's a ton of resources that with people that are more experienced, that have gone there, have been there, and have a lot of tools, and also have this space of support, so that you don't have to deal with everything by yourself. It's completely unneeded.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience? Anything that is still hanging around?
Yes. My main motto is to really, I call this the life, like it's like your movie, and you are your own director. So I want to inspire people to direct their movies in the way they want. And everything, I've been lucky to get to every single goal and dream that I ever set to myself, and I keep doing it. And I inspire the people that I work with, and also the people that I try to impact through podcasts or posts, that this is absolutely possible. And usually there's only limiting beliefs or fears that are getting in the way to living your best freaking life. And if you're able to be humble enough to find support, and to dream big enough in order to see that it's absolutely possible, then you are your only limitation. And once you are able to see that it's nothing external, it's an internal limitation. The great thing is that you can influence anything that is internal.
Exactly.
You can change a market, a country. Maybe can affect if you do a political party, whatever. But it's very difficult. But on yourself, it's amazing what you can achieve. So I'm really into personal development. I've been working a lot with like so many therapies and coaches and resources over the past 15 years. And I think that everything that you want to achieve in life can be achieved through personal development. Even business, learning about business is also personal development. It's personal as a person, not on the personal side, but as a human. Let's call it human development. And there's books, podcasts, coaches, consultants, anyone out there that already have what you need. So you just need to look out for it so that you get to the next stage. So it's absolutely possible if you're willing to see that you have influence and control over your own life, and you can design it the way that you want.
Exactly. That's so beautifully said. And to remember that we are the directors of our lives and we get to decide how that movie will end. And we get to decide also, okay, these are the people that I'm going to introduce into the cast. These are the actors that are going to be playing here so that I make sure that this movie ends the way I want it to end. And to make sure that we are choosing the narrative of our lives and not let, maybe like the narrative from society or the narrative from our fears be the one that guides, but our own true narrative. So that's really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Ignacio. So where can listeners find you online? What's the best way to hang out with you and to be inspired by your beautiful content?
Yeah, I mean, my main channel nowadays is LinkedIn. So you'll see my name in the description, Ignacio Carcavallo. And if not, in Instagram is also at Ignacio Carcavallo.
Amazing. So both links will be in the show notes so that people can find you, hang out with you, learn from you. And now I love to finish all of the episodes with 3 rapid fire questions. So let's do this. When was the last time you felt bliss?
Last week, when I saw a client's breakthrough that was absolutely blocked, and I saw him bloom, and it really lights up my heart.
So nice, so beautiful. So the next question is, can you think of one idea that fundamentally changed your life?
One idea that fundamentally changed my life. Yes. We have been talking about helping others. And when I was younger, I was so passionate about helping others. And of course, I said I committed most of the mistakes that you can do. But the main mistake about helping others was that I shouldn't prioritize myself just to have more time and energy to help others. And I was becoming almost extinct because I was using all my resources and energy, and then I wasn't helping from the right place. So one of the deepest ideas that completely changed the way I think is that over the past 10 or 15 years, I have been prioritizing my own well-being, my own mental health, my own physical health, because the better I get, the more resources I have, and the better place I am to impact others. So it's not egotistical to take care of yourself. It's actually a need if you really want to impact others from a sustainable way.
Exactly. There's this phrase that really puts this very nicely, which is you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you need to fill your cup first and then fill others' cup as much as if they want their cups to be filled. And then the third one is, this is a really fun one. If you could choose one rule that everybody in the world needs to obey, what would it be?
Yeah. Find amazing support in every single area that you want to improve or master. Don't do it by yourself. I would oblige, because the funny thing is that every time that I see someone that is trying to achieve something in any area of life, could be even nutrition, could be sports, could be intimacy, could be business, could be traveling. And they're feeling alone, they're feeling stuck, and they try to solve by themselves. And eventually, of course, if you have enough stamina and push, you can solve it. But it takes so much time. If you just were to a person that knows about it, you can solve it in one freaking call or one talk. So, and of course, I have quite some challenge with people, especially some relatives that are absolutely against support. And I see that they're absolutely stuck and they're having a really bad time, but they're against support, like for example therapy, and it blows my mind. It's like I know that I'm pushing my own beliefs on them, but I'm like, it's like seeing that they have their foot broken and they don't believe in doctors. I'm like, dude, just go to a freaking doctor. It's so easy, but it's so easy for me, of course, right? So yeah, I would make the rule that you have to get support in order to achieve your goals.
Amazing. That's such a good rule. And yeah, I think we would solve problems in a much quicker way. You just go to the person who has either lived this or has a lot of knowledge on this topic and just talk to them and receive knowledge and experience from them. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, Ignacio, for all of this wisdom, all of your energy. It's been a true joy to have you on the show. So thank you so much again for your time and for your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Great talk.
Amazing. So I will see the listeners on the next episode. And in the meantime, in Blisstopia we trust.